For many, the most iconic music from the 1970s is disco music, especially with the release of Saturday Night Fever in 1977, a movie that inspired a disco craze across the U.S. But in 1975, the genre that was making a name for itself in performance art was rock music. Many rock concerts in 1975 were big on performance art. Acts like Queen, Elton John, and Alice Cooper were known for their extravagant on-stage performances. One band that quickly gained a reputation for extreme live performances before actually seeing sales success in their albums was Kiss. Dressed in makeup and costumes, the band would frequently experiment on stage with pyrotechnics as well as guitar smashing. At some shows, lead singer Gene Simmons would spit out a mixture of raw eggs and food coloring meant to look like blood. During this concert in 1975, Simmons simulates breathing fire by spitting flammable liquid at a torch. Another experimental artist that was touring in 1975 was Frank Zappa. An avant-garde musician, director, and artist, Zappa put on stage productions that were incredibly involved and filled with subtext. Jim Paoletti describes a 1975 Zappa concert he saw in Providence, Rhode Island.
Most Frank Zappa vocals involved a good bit of social or political commentary, and the performers tended to act those things out as they were singing them. So depending on what the thing was, they'd be sort of taking on various roles of whatever the music would, whatever the lyrics would suggest. And it's hard to describe that, especially since some of them, especially the cultural ones, tended to be at the least risque.
Unlike Kiss and Zappa, the Rolling Stones did not experiment with unusual live performances. But, inspired by the trend of extravagant stage performances of the time, the Stones set off on a 1975 tour of the Americas that was their first with theatrics and stage gimmicks. This included a giant inflatable phallus nicknamed Tired Grandfather, and an unfolding stage shaped like a lotus flower. Even the tour's announcement played on the 1975 trend of wild stage performance. To announce the tour, the Stones called a press conference at a New York City hotel, but they never attended. Instead, the band was carried on the back of a flatbed truck with their instruments and equipment, and as they rolled past the hotel where the media were waiting, they played an extended version of their song Brown Sugar. With a popular musical mainstay like the Rolling Stones engaging in extravagant concert performances, it was clear that the trend had become pervasive. But beyond the popular music scene emerged another stage act no less extravagant than a Kiss, Zappa, or Stones concert. 1975 saw the Broadway release of the Rocky Horror Show. With visual themes of schlock, gore, and transvestitism, the show pushed the boundaries of stage performance. Drawing inspiration from science fiction horror films and punk rock music, the Rocky Horror Show played at the Belasco Theater in New York for 45 showings. Though the New York theatrical run was not as successful a run as its LA counterpart the year before, it helped earn the show its 1975 Tony Award nominations. The trend of extravagant and experimental stage performance evident in 1975 persists until today. The Rocky Horror Show is still performed as a cult classic, and modern artists continue to use boundary-pushing performance techniques in their concerts.
your hands on your hips.